This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. Francis, how are we, sir?
I'm good, thank you, Parsons. In a very Frank Smith-esque outfit over there, mate.
I am indeed. We're trying to be a little bit more corporate after years of being violated for all sorts.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's corporate.
It's like, is this not like the new corporate?
It depends where you work, really, doesn't it?
In boxing,
I suppose it's not corporate. I wouldn't say someone would look at you and go, looks like a very corporate young gentleman.
No, true.
But you look good, Parsons.
Thanks, sir.
No worries, mate.
How was Vegas?
It was good. I was
Mexico.
there for 36 hours. It was good. Look, Edgar Berlanga, amazing performance. When you think he's never been anywhere near that level in terms of quality, going up in there against Canelo Alvarez, pound for pound, got to be up there wherever you think, top 1, 2, 3 in the sport. He went in there and he put everything on the line. He didn't stop coming. He got put down, came straight back out fighting. And all credit to him because, like I say, he'd never been nowhere near those levels. And people writ him off from the start, didn't give him a hope, and even going the distance. But he stayed in, he kept fighting all the way through, and he set himself up in a great position now in the division because, there's not a ton of names there. There's the Caleb Plant fight, there's the Jaime Munguia fight. There's so many, Diego Pacheco as well, fights to be made now. He wants to go and fight for the world title as well. He wants the winner of the Shishkin fight as well, William Skull against Shishkin. There's so many fights to be made, and he's in a great position now off the back of that performance.
Going into the fight week build-up, look, you always do a tremendous job.
Thank you.
With your fighters, but it felt like there was something a little more. Why are you looking around the room for?
No, they were laughing at me. Those two, couple of lads in the corner.
Couple of lads in the tremendous bit. Yeah.
You always do a tremendous job of promoting your fighters.
Tremendous job. With your fighters, it felt like there was a little extra something with Berlanga last week in terms of all the fight week stuff that we got. Eddie looked super close with him all week. Why is that?
Look, I think we've been on a journey where we signed him, what is now 3 fights ago, but we had 2 fights, and it was always the plan to get that Canelo fight. And so when it was delivered, we'd done what we said we'd do. And worked closely, obviously, with his team, his manager Keith Connolly, but we got a great relationship with him. And when you've got a relationship like that and you've worked towards something and you've delivered it, everyone's very happy. And he was all in that fight week. Some fighters are beat before they go in there against Canelo Alvarez or in those types of fights. But Edgar Berlanga, at no point was he overwhelmed by the occasion, was he phased. He knew what he had to do, and he was excited for it. And he played his part in selling that fight as well. He's a great character. He looks the part. He does everything right. And he showed that he's got the fight as well on Saturday night. So the future's huge for him.
You mentioned a couple of fights there. An obvious one is the in-house one, Diego Pacheco. Any provisional talks about that?
Not yet. I mean, that was a fight we were talking about potentially before. I think there's big fights. Diego Pacheco's on his own route as well. We've got to guide them both and do the best for both fighters. As I said, I really like the Caleb Plant fight. I think that's a great fight for Edgar Berlanga, and I think he beats Caleb Plant. I think that would be a huge build-up as well. Between the two of them. So I think that's a brilliant fight. And like I say, at some point, Canelo is going to get, be rid of the belts in terms of how many more fights does he have? Does he want to move back up to 175 and attempt the Bivol fight there again? There's a lot of options that Canelo has, and at some point those belts are going to free up. So he's definitely going to be a world champion in time.
Out of curiosity, we obviously saw when His Excellency came into the UK market, everyone was able to get on quite amicably, work quite amicably. We see boxers' input now involved. Yourselves and Queensberry's came quite early on. Is it the same, as your glasses fall down there, is it the same in the States? We don't quite get that vibe, but for example, last week was a Matchroom PBC co-promotion. We know PBC sort of took the reins with it as such, but what is that sort of, I suppose, vibe like on the ground?
Again, look, it goes back to the point of we've always had relationships with all the promoters. It may not be that Eddie gets on with Oscar De La Hoya or Eddie and Al Heyman are aligned in their vision, but we've always done things together. We've done things for years with PBC, going back to when they started, I think in 2015, 2016. So there's always been work there to be done, and we had that show obviously August 3rd. We worked with Riyadh Season to deliver the event for Riyadh Season and work with all of the promoters there. So actually on the ground and the reality of getting things done, there's no issues. you know, a lot. Again, it comes back to this kind of stuff
No,
where
of course.
issues are raised and people think, oh, they can't work together because
I
X
feel-
doesn't like Y.
I think my point with a question as such is where you guys took the lead
Yeah.
with the LA event, which is fact. Obviously, that was a PBC event. The PBC would have had to have worked with you in terms of the Riyadh season event, right? In terms of amicability and
Yeah,
stuff
but we
like
had
that.
to. But again, we've worked with them with a number of fighters in the past with PBC. We've had PBC fighters on our shows. Look, going back to, I don't know, when Kell Brook fought Errol Spence in Sheffield. You know, Eddie has a very good relationship with Louis de Cubas. You know, I've always got on well with Tom Brown. You know, so the relationship's there. It's not. We're not going out for a beer every night and texting each other saying how's things going. And we'll always be competitors, but there's always been the opportunity to work together.
Liam Smith out.
Yeah.
In comes Ishmael Davis. 160.
Yeah.
Talk me through the sort of last 24 hours of discussions. We know that there was a lot of fighters that put their name in the hat for that one.
Yeah, look, it was all on Saturday night, just after the Canelo fight had finished. We were working through it all, speaking to, you know, Ish's team, Lee and Sonny, etc., to get it together. And fair play to Ishmael Davis. You know, he's jumped straight in there. He's got his opportunity to change his life. You know, Josh Kelly's a brilliant fighter. We've worked with Josh Kelly for a long time in the past, obviously. He's a great fighter, but this is Ishmael Davis's chance at 160 to go in there and spoil the party.
You believe he does it?
I believe he can do it, yeah. I believe he can do it. It's a hard fight. It's a very hard fight, and he's taking it on 6 days' notice, and credit to him for doing that, because a lot of fighters wouldn't do that. But it just shows that he's always in the gym, he's always training, always fit, he takes it very seriously. So, you know, he was ready, and as soon as the opportunity, as soon as people were hearing about it, he was one of the first people to jump up and put his name in the hat.
Well, we've just seen the main event face off somewhere down there with
How did it go?
Tower Bridge. I didn't see, actually.
I didn't see.
You didn't see? Well, that's annoying.
So we can't say much.
We can't say too much.
They're both tall.
They're both very
Yeah.
tall. You wouldn't
Yeah.
want to be punched by either of them.
No, I mean, that is quite an obvious fact.
No, of
Parsons.
course.
I don't think I want to be punched by any boxer, let alone them two.
No, very true.
Yeah, even like a 108-pound fighter, I probably wouldn't want to take a punch from.
No, that is very true.
Do you think you could take a body shot from a 108-pound fighter?
Yeah.
No.
No, I could.
Bollocks.
I could.
Okay.
Could you?
No.
Yeah, you could.
Parsons.
Respectfully,
I swear
no, but
to
you say 108-pound fighter, right? I could pull up a.
I reckon
know.
if they catch you right in those chunky little ribs there.
These are
It's gonna
actually
be-
slimmer than they used to
Yeah,
be.
they're slimmer, but they're still chunky.
What I was going. No, I see a fan take a body shot of Canelo.
Yeah. Do you think Canelo really gave it 100%?
No, I mean, like, obviously not,
Let's be,
right, what
let's
we-
be
so
honest.
you're talking
So I'm
100%
talking like
body
he just
shot.
dips and goes and just whack. You're down. I'm sorry. And if you think differently, then you need to have a firm talking to yourself.
Okay, well, maybe I need to have a firm talking to myself, or maybe I've just got abs like absolute concrete. I was actually going to ask you, have you spent much time around it? I know you've been in London for probably about 7 hours, but have you seen AJ yet? What's the vibe you're getting off him and the team?
I walked in, he was sitting there, I said hello. Everyone took the piss out of my new trainers, and I walked out.
Oh, so it's not just me?
No.
That's
So,
good. That's
you know,
good.
That was the extent of my... I was late. I'd just got back from Vegas, so I popped in, said hello, wished him my best, and said see you Sunday.
Listen in on any of the media?
No.
No? Okay, that's great.
I mean, did you?
No, I didn't.
Exactly,
I wasn't
so
allowed in the
you're-
room. You're allowed in the room.
You are... Yeah, but it's exclusive. It's for like the proper journalists.
Ouch.
No, that's what they say. They say they're proper journalists. I think you're a proper journalist. To
I
be fair.
don't, to be fair.
I've got a lot of respect for you. I told you
Thanks,
that the other
mate.
week.
Thanks. No, you did say
I did.
that. I feel like this is where the viewers are going to be commenting.
Well,
what
say,
they
ask
talk-
a question
Well, I
then.
was, and then you went off the cuff.
No, I didn't. Go. Ask me.
What can Daniel Dubois bring Saturday night? I feel like this is the most respect he's ever had going into a fight.
Sorry, most respect he's ever had.
Yeah, being given by the fans and the media.
Look, he's coming off a great fight against Filip Hrgovic, and he showed a lot of heart in that Jarrell Miller fight. Ended it well. Are we getting chucked out? No, we're fine.
Fred Mello. Hello.
He's coming off the back of a great run. But I think Anthony Joshua's too experienced. I think he's in the form of his life, the shape of his life, the confidence, everything's there. And I think he's going to destroy Daniel Dubois. But he's a real challenger.
Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
Record capacity.
96,000.
It always feels, London feels like there's a special buzz when AJ fights, and I feel this week we're going to see an exemplified version of that.
100%. Record breaking 96,000, as we say, Wembley Stadium. You look back at the nights we've had over the years. I was looking at clips earlier of him walking out, for that Klitschko fight we did there. That Klitschko fight was probably one of the best memories I've ever had in terms of an event and the spectacle. This is going to go far beyond that. we've seen what Riyadh season do as well with shows. This is going to be a special night, and looking forward to it.
Is this the best version of AJ that you think we've seen in his career?
I think, yeah, I believe so. I believe we're seeing the best version. I believe, like I say, he's been learning over the years, and now he's putting it all into place, and I believe he can beat everyone, and he will do.
Without wanting to tempt fate, and it's a question that you would have had a million times after, so I suppose I'll try and put it to you slightly differently. When I spoke to Eddie, he said, look, the likelihood if he beats Daniel Dubois, he's probably not going to have a fight before the end of the year, right? Which allows the rematch for Fury Usyk. Would we be right in inferring that if Fury's heart is still in the game, win, lose or draw against Oleksandr Usyk, and AJ is victorious here, that we finally have a pathway with Riyadh season, with everyone involved, to see Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua?
I think you've never been closer to seeing those fights. As well, look, you got to imagine as well, on the other hand, the undisputed fight against Oleksandr Usyk could be there as well. The trilogy.
So you feel AJ will fight the winner of the December fight?
I think we're in a great place to see the best fights in the sport. And, we've spoken about it far too much in the past. There's been too much talking and not always been delivered in the action to deliver. But I believe we're in a great place to see the biggest fights possible. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk. AJ even mentioned Deontay Wilder the other day. The biggest fights are there to be made. He's got a job on Saturday. He's got a real fight on Saturday. And then we go from there.
The IBF.
Yep.
I was going to say doing IBF-like things. I mean, I get why people, aren't happy as such. Is it another one of those ones where, the decision could have been made at the time of making the fight 6 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, whatever, as opposed to 7 days before that Kakachi's IBF title will not be on the line?
Yeah, look, it's one I don't really understand, I've got to be honest with you. They're allowing him to retain his belt, but not sanctioning the fight. Yeah, but the whole thing is
ridiculous, right?
It doesn't really make sense to me, but it's one of those things. It's a great fight. Take away the belts from it, it's going to be a brilliant fight. Josh Warrington looks in unbelievable shape. I think the weight's great for him. And yeah, forget the belts for a minute. It's a shame for Josh Warrington, but we move on, and we're going to be in for a tear up in there.
Do you feel like now, after, I suppose August is usually a bit of a downtime in boxing, it didn't really pay out as such, but it felt like the summer was a little bit roller coaster like, sometimes losing momentum, sometimes there's loads on. Do we feel like we're now getting into that space? Edwards, your fight announced, we've got Monaco, obviously, shows in the States, shows in Riyadh, etc. Feel like we're back into that swing of momentum?
Yeah, look, 100%. Look, we're coming off the back of last weekend, Canelo, Berlanga in Las Vegas. This weekend, Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, 96,000 people at Wembley Stadium. Then we got Rhiannon Dixon, Terry Harper in Sheffield. Then we got the undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world, Bivol Beterbiev in Riyadh on October 12th. October 26th is Catterall against Prograis at the new Co-op Arena. Then, we've got some US shows that we're going to announce for November and December. You've got Edward Jafai, as you said, a brilliant fight there, a fight that we've worked hard to make, and I think the kind of fight British boxing needs right now. And then, Monaco as well, as you say. And then it all topped off with the undisputed clash at the end the unified heavyweight championship of the world between Oleksandr Usyk and Tyson Fury. So, a great run, lots to look forward to, and lots more to come.
Joe Cordina, obviously, off, not fighting Shakur Stevenson. Lee Wood is someone who doesn't have a fight upcoming, is there? I know that there was talk at one point about a potential fight between the two of them. Any possibility for that, i.e. Monaco or another venue?
Maybe. I think, one of the fights we're interested in looking at as well is Lee Wood's Alpha Barrett. So let's see. We'll see. There's lots of options out there, lots that can play out, and go from there. Look, Josh Warrington fights on Saturday night as well. There's Lee Wood, Josh Warrington is a fight that could be made.
So no interest for Lee Wood, Joe Cordina?
Could be as well. Yeah, but there's loads of.
What else could be next for Joe?
We'll see. We'll see what he plans to do, and go from there.
Cool. Frank Smith,
Charlie Parsons.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Why still? There we are.
There you go.
Can you show the Solomons? I don't think you'll be able to, really. Interesting choice of crepe.
I don't think there's anything wrong with them.
They're just a bit they're
a bit out there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Trying to just be a bit different, Parsons.
No,
anyway,
I get that.
This isn't a fashion show. It's talking about boxing, allegedly. So catch you soon.
Cheers, Francis.
Cheers, pal.
Au revoir.